Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever. This is a replay review. Trash sent me this. He's playing against Space4man. Uh, very active ladder player. And quite a good one too. And he used to be Space Tomato, Space Potato, I think. So, let's see what Trash does. Let's see how he can improve, how he could have played this game better, and maybe also comment on what Spaceman is doing a little bit, because you gotta see both sides. Spaceman has a problem with sound. I think this vanilla music mod is a bit louder than the normal or the Forge Alliance game music. Not sure. If there's a problem with the sound, please inform me. I know it's not perfect, but it's just the kind of mic I have. So Trash has gone 3 P-gens, second air. So that's kind of unusual. Usually you'd make 3 P-gens for the land because, you know, that takes into account having the power. So he's gone 3 P-gens and then for a bomber. So that's quite nice that he goes for the low. He goes for less power than usual because he wants to get the bomber faster. So I like that move. And the reason he's not stalling is because he did not assist the ACU when building, but now he needs to add maybe a few more pigeons. He's getting some rocks here. He missed quite a lot of them. The scout goes overhead and he has no target yet, so he's aiming here. So you want to aim at the middle guy first, for sure. That's the first thing. Always aim at the middle guy. Especially with Cybern Bomber. So if he aimed at one of these two guys, he gets 2 kills straight away. And this one isn't bad. He gets... Oh my goodness. Well, the gods are with him. He got all 3 kills anyway. And damaged 3 or 4 pigeons, so... His interceptor... He's now microing it, trying to send it in. Spaceman dodges this bomb. Now while he's doing this, his economy has not balanced itself perfectly. He doesn't get in quite in behind the interceptor, but this interceptor actually has 2 kills already. 2 scout kills? With 80 veterancy, I think it has 2 scout kills because it is 50 and air scout is 40. So that was definitely a good bomber. Now he did stall power while he was using the bomber trying to micro. That's unfortunate, but sort of normal. And now we need to see more factories go up. So with this kind of bar, he needs to just be adding 2 more factories very quickly. And he has the resources for that. And also make some more energy production so that he doesn't fall behind in units early on. This looks like a nice gift of an interceptor. So making another bomber right now, which is a good move because he's killed several interceptors. He has 3 of his own, so he can actually use the interceptors now to protect his bomber a lot. If we look at the generated mass, you can see Spaceman actually much faster expansion. Well, actually no. Well, it was faster. Certainly, this is much faster than Trash. He's taken really far too long here. I'm not sure why he has a land factory queued. Can understand a land factory queued for a hover faction, but not really for Cybran. Here comes the bomber. If you don't have micro, you can just assist the bomber with the inties. That works pretty well. That's a good kill. This engineer was not protected by Spaceman, so gets taken out. And this bomb lands. That's an NG killed, and it's now using the inties to find another one that's pretty good too. And the AC is moving this way. So right now, I'm sure Trash knows that mainly you want to go in this direction. with the ACU. So if you go to the right, then you want to be very ready for ACU on ACU combat. So maybe you want to catch your opposing player out, especially if it's a higher ranked player like Spaceman is. Now, one problem we definitely see is there's no continued P-Gen production, and this is really hurting him now that he's getting his expansions, getting the mexes here, you can see, getting these mexes. So the Hydro becomes really important now. It needs to focus on getting that, and then even adding more power production afterwards. But the bar looks pretty nice right now, but it will be nicer with the Hydro. We have some power stalls happening. So he's faster to this location. And so he can get a PD up here. He can definitely hold this and maybe even take this location. The commander is spotted. So I definitely would be getting a PD in a factory here. And it looks like he wins air once again, gets some inti kills. He needs some more active scouting. Oh, the Hydra's still not done. So we're very low on power. It really limits you when you're low on power. You can't click that upgrade button on your factory. You can't really afford mechs upgrades. We have one on the go. Something to be aware of. Spaceman is ahead on mechs upgrades. And I think a transport would have been really good. There's a lot of air fights and it wouldn't give any opportunity to Spaceman to actually snipe the transport. So a transport at any stage would have been very nice. He could have dropped here and then you could drop 4 engineers or something. Get a PD very quickly, secure the expansion, and you also know the ACU is not going to be there. People very often don't have PDs, so he could have both these expansions and also have them protected, and that would give him a massive advantage over Spaceman right now. But as it is, Spaceman's units have appeared. We saw them on radar, and now a lack of scouting means that the units are late here as well. So there's a lot of opportunity here for Spaceman to lose all of his expansions to Trash, for Trash to take actually every expansion. I'm not even kidding, he could have taken them all with more active scouting and better use of transports. And even taking one of these 3 out here would give him a very big advantage. Let's take a look at Spaceman. So you can see very limited map control, and actually Spaceman getting caught here by some units. Trash has a lot around, and actually, oh, the ACU is out of range. The ACU I think was in range here, but now he's allowed Spaceman to get out of range of the ACU, and that's critical. If Spaceman was in range of the ACU the entire time, then he would have taken a hell of a lot of damage, and unfortunately this Spaceman is not going to die here, unfortunately for Trash. He has gotten away and he has a lot of units. So what needs to be done is, well, the factory works, but also just spam some reclaim orders, get these wrecks. Because if you don't get them very soon, it's likely Spaceman is going to get them. And Spaceman takes the opportunity actually to snipe the Air Force. That's painful. And actually, Trash is going T3 land right now. Okay, so one thing you gotta know, you really have to have your T2 PGen done before you go for T3 land. And yeah, so there's a few problems here. So we're making T1 PGens here. We're making a T2 PGen with a lot of build power here. Or quite a lot. And we're making T3 land. You can see how much that drains, over 100. And we only have 480 income. So that's a big problem. Also, building factories is expensive. Especially air factories are more power intensive. So this has really just depleted your mass bar completely. We've run out of mass. We're in a total stall. And that's very inefficient. So you just need to prioritize, not start a whole bunch of projects once. You could You could focus on the T2 Pigeon there first. Ignore this T1 Pigeon stuff. Once the T2 Pigeon is done, start assisting, go to T3 land, and then build air factories around the T2 Pigeon. And that way you don't stall massively and waste mass income. And there's still mass here you could have been getting as well. Now if we look up the top, looks like you have a PD in this expansion, you're getting a factory. I think you only need one factory. Get a radar though, that's critical. Get a radar after the PD, then make the factory, I would say. And this bottom expansion, it's time to run away with the ACU, because there's so many tanks here. You're just running into a suicide if you run towards this. Very likely, because you don't actually know exactly how many units are here. And if these units double back on you, you're dead for sure. Like if these units know you're there, this is almost 40, it's like over 40 units. You're for sure dead, so do not walk towards that. Spaceman saying he has no sound. And now looking at the economy, we have, these mechs is here upgraded, so we can see Spaceman. Look at all of these grayed out buildings. We need some more scouting for sure. Dangerous fight here with the ACU, but Spaceman is not going in for the kill. He's being quite conservative. And we can see more mechs upgrades. There's 6 at least for Spaceman. He may have upgraded here, although it's slightly unlikely. And these locations are... This has a lot of mass now and you've lost the expansion, so this is quite painful. His T3 land upgrade is... Well, I mean, you started it about 3 minutes ago, and it really cost you a lot of eco. It cost you this expansion, basically, because you aren't making T1 units or T2 units, and you lost this expansion because of this T3 upgrade, basically. On the top, there's an army we didn't see coming, because there's no radar. You can see I have a lot of rings disabled, but I always have the radar rings enabled because it's really extremely important to know where you actually can see. And there could be an army, you have no idea where his army is. You also don't know what his army consists of. I mean, now you can see there's quite a lot of pillars on top, and you only have T1 units at the minute. You have 2 loyalists, but until you have some more, the pillars are going to be stronger. So we need to see the end of the T1 production, or maybe just very limited T1 production in certain areas. Maybe even recycle some T1 factories for mass. And then so that you can get more loyalists out, because that's what you need. The Mantis are not going to help very much. Pillars are far too strong, and this pillar army, there's maybe 10 pillars. They're going to run over this location. Now the ACU is going to T2. I'm wondering why the ACU is going to T2 here. I think it's still really exposed. If Spaceman is more active and scouting more, you can see he has very limited intel as well, unfortunately. But this is dangerous. You could get RT'd, could get run over because you don't have that much intel. You don't have a radar in the bottom. So again, a bit dangerous, but you have some army with you, so it's not as bad. But now, okay, you've just gone into a very, very big stall. I'm wondering why that is. Oh, it's probably this factory here. So you only need, and now T2 is cancelled. Yeah, it was going very, very slowly because of the mass stall, and now you're forced to cancel it at over halfway. which is quite painful. The loyalists over here are going to get dominated by some pillars. And there were only T1 mexes here, so you've just given maybe almost 800 reclaim, 800 reclaim on your opponent's side and killed a couple of T2 mexes, or T1 mexes, sorry. So not efficient. The better thing to do is to drop a loyalist here, where you can see there's upgraded mexes. So if you can get a drop away here, that would be very good. And now this is, again, extremely dangerous. We have two lawyers to help the ACU, so maybe okay, but if he focuses you down, you can lose a lot of HP very quickly. I mean, as it is, he's not focusing your commander, and he did maybe 5k damage to the ACU. Risky business here, using the ACU like this. The top side, now that the top side is dead, map control is actually in favor of Spaceman. He's killed this expansion, this expansion, this expansion, so he's used this T2 pretty well. And we only have 5 loyalists right now because of the losses on Spaceman's side of the map. So yes, definitely lacking for mass. We have tons of power, so can invest more into air, which is a good strategy versus UEF, especially because they're going to be on, when they get to T3, we're going to have Percy's. So you desperately need mass, so you got to focus on getting the reclaim, and there is a lot here. That's a dead loyalist, and that's a dead T2PD. So that's juicy mass chunks, so you got to focus on grabbing this, maybe get a shield. Oh, you don't actually have T2, I forgot you had to cancel that. So yeah, a vanilla ACU hanging around here at 17 minutes is dangerous. So you might want to actually get that upgrade right now. Oh, we have a TML. That's a nice TML. It's quite late, so Spaceman could easily have some TMD here. And we still don't know what's happening in the base. We don't know when he's going T3, whether he has T2 air, how much eco he has, what does he have here, what are these mexes. So, and whether there's TMD, and if there was TMD, then you could snipe it, but if you don't know it's there, you definitely can't. Oh yes, about this factory, I think you can definitely delay the second factory quite a lot. You can just assist the HQ heavily, and instead of moving to that support factory. It depends on your economy. And, you know, we could also have storages around each of these mexes, which basically makes them... Well, it's like it's having a double T2 mex. When you storage it, it's almost the same again as upgrading from T1 to T2. So it's really important that you know what the economy is, what the upgrades are. And we do have storage here. And you can see he's only on his way to T3 now, so you still have the advantage in tech. You have the loyalists versus the pillars, and what you have to exploit here is well, I think you really need to use the loyalists almost alone. It makes it easier to micro them back and forth. They don't bump into the mantis, but you sort of want to micro back and forth right in the edge of the range, because you have slightly more range than a pillar. But there's so many pillars here, and once they get into range, they can actually kill some loyalists. And that's what's happening. It's a very big army that Spaceman has. And we also have a lack of radar again. So T2 radar somewhere would be nice. Back here, maybe kind of safe position. This drop was ambitious, to say the least. And we have now all this All this reclaim you don't have access to. So make sure you choose your fights somewhere where you can get reclaim, ideally. That's what you need. You need the fights where you get the spoils, otherwise it's a bad fight. So we've lost some loyalists. Lost quite a lot of pillars up here for Spaceman though. Big chunks of mass. And the corner still held by Spaceman, so it's a difficult scenario right now, and you have to think about what's going to happen when there are Percivals. So I would be thinking about, well, you could have made drops certainly a while ago, and yeah, you still more scouting needed. Let's take a look at Spaceman's. Oh, okay, we have a lot of TMD. These are actually T2. And we have T2 PD, and if we look at what Trash can see, all he sees is an unupgraded base, unupgraded location with a T1 PD defending it. When in reality, it's stacked with T2 PD, TMD, there's T2 mexes there to kill. Here we have a fight. And, and Trash says, oops. He accidentally ran right into the middle of those, but looks like he would still win the fight. The stun did quite a lot for him. But again, more mass deposited, and who's going to get that? Well, Spaceman is the guy with engineers in the area, and he's going to make a lot of PDs to actually try and stop the loyalists from attacking, help the pillars defend, and some other engineers are going to reclaim the mass. So very good for Spaceman right now in this location. He's doing well. And we did have a run by here with, I think, T on land. Actually, still some of those very early wrecks have not been reclaimed. But some mexes got killed there. A couple of T1 mexes though, so not a huge deal. Trash is upgrading, and we're getting a support factory in the expansion. So Corsairs being spammed. So I would definitely be going for T2 transport. It's the best T2 air unit for sure, and it makes your units, well, obviously way more mobile and more powerful. So if you can just get a loyalist here, kill two T2 mexes, save the transport, and it only costs you 1 or 2 loyalists, which, you know, are probably going to die. Now you have actually already TML'd these. Spaceman is quite slow to get these back, which is helping you a lot. This location, you still have no idea what's going on. I think you just scouted it, so now you can see. But I think at some point he had upgraded the mexes but had not got TMD, so you could have perhaps TML'd here if you had better scouting. Looking at, well, economy is quite good for you, I think, in terms of just mex upgrades, but map control is in Spaceman's favor. PD lasting a very long time, but you can kill all of this and you can clean this out for sure. Corsairs move in, they take out 1 T2 PGen, but there's a shield. Now it's not a very well placed shield, as you can see. It's badly placed. So you did actually have a chance there, but it wouldn't do too much for you. And actually, Spaceman actually has too many PGens anyway, so you actually did him a favor. Which is hilarious. And he has 50% T3 mex. Meanwhile, in your base, we have on storage T2 mexes here and a T1 mex, so you want to try get these storaged quickly and also, once again, end the T1 production at least 10 minutes ago, maybe 15 minutes ago. The T1 production should have stopped. Should not have Mantis coming out anymore. It's really a waste of mass. So we have Loyalists versus Percy's. I think the Mantis, although I said you should stop building them 15 minutes ago, I think the Mantis did pretty well there. But the Percy's are only out now. They're very, very late. And those Loyalists got absolutely destroyed. You can see a Percy kills a Loyalist in 2 shots. So if you have 2 Percys, then 1 volley ends the life of a Loyalist because they do 1600 damage, and a Loyalist only has 3100. So Percy is very, very good versus the Loyalist, and also the stun is not very effective because the Percy has a very long reload range. I'm not sure what attack happened here. Oh, T2 Arty. I was wondering because they all had the same damage on them. And that's a Ravager. That's a big error to be making a Ravager, in my opinion. They're very expensive. And this Arty, I mean, that's an option. It's extremely expensive. I don't know. I don't think I would do that. I mean, maybe 1 Arty, but even so, I'm not sure. Up the top, we have a fight, but there's only T1 units left. There's a couple of Loyalists. And we have 3 Percys, a Mongoose, 2 Mongoose, and a Pillar. And there's only T1 left now. And Spaceman wins that battle. I should have been looking more closely at that battle, because that was critical. You can see how much damage the Percival did. What has died here? Let's just take a quick look. Well, we have quite a few T2 units. I think there's some leftover reclaim from previous battles, but I only see 1 dead Percy. No, there's 1. 2 dead Percys. And several dead Loyalists. So this fight, a big commitment to attacking those Percys, and the Percys just dominated, and there was some T2 mixed in there, which was able to take care of the T1 as well. I mean, Percys just have so much HP that they can tank that damage anyway and kill the T1. Unless there's a massive swarm. And now, instantly, the reclaiming is happening for Spaceman. Another big victory for him. Over here, the Ravagers are no good. Big mistake to make those. See, 1800 mass. Could make almost 4 PD. T2 PD for that, which would fare much better. But the Arty really finished any chance of this base. He needed to build 2 or 3 shields to actually defend versus the Arty. Right now, what I would do is reclaim the Arty. So the base is dead. This is a huge amount of mass. Let me just show you how much mass T2 Arty costs. 1680 for Cybrant. Just get that back. It's not helpful for you right now. So this you can invest in a T3 mechs once you reclaim those Arties, because you know what are they doing for you. And now you have very big map control. You actually have this location which you cleared out with some Loyalists and T1, and you've taken the mexes. That's good. We've even dropped these mexes. It looks like Spaceman never even rebuilt them. And now the game looks great for you. There's only one problem. And we will see that if we go to Spaceman's base. So we have this T3 mex that we saw. We have a second one. We have a third T3 mex here. Okay, that's bad, but we have map control, so we have more mass income and more efficient mass income, right? Well, we're still missing this location, and Spaceman has just reclaimed all of this mass. Now, the next thing is the army composition. We have still making Mantis. That's see that 2,900 mass into Mantis. I mean, all of these Mantis have been built recently. So you spent a lot of mass that could be loyalists. How many loyalists could you get for that? I mean, I'm not sure exactly. Well, there you go. You can get 6 loyalists for that. Much more effective to have 6 loyalists. Or a couple of bricks. And now we have 3 bricks and we have 26 loyalists. And Spaceman is making Percivals. And he already has 14 of them. And Percivals are great versus loyalists. And they're great versus bricks. So they're just a superior unit to the Cyber and T3 land. Spaceman is ecoing so hard. He's all of his mass right now. Look at all this build power. It's basically all the mass he's generating is going into this T3 mech. So he's predicting the game is going to last. He's predicting that you're not going to finish him off. And I mean, that's a good shout because he has 15 Percies on his side. And so he's going to eco, and then he's going to try and regain map control. So, ooh, T3 PGen on the front. Not a fan of that. Gotta say, now you did get a lot of nice reclaim here. You look at total reclaim amount, Spaceman is still ahead. So what you really need to do is spot these T3 mexes, and you have to be making T3 mexes immediately. Right now, you have to be assisting T3 mechs and make them as fast as possible. Now here we have an attack, a blind attack into a group of Percivals. These were just grey dots. You did not know what they were. Maybe you could probably guess they're Percies, but maybe you thought some of them are pillars. But either way, it's a blind attack. And there's one brick. The stuns are going in, but they have little to no impact because of the reload time. And the Percies are tanking all of this loyalist damage. A lot of the Percies have gone down. The brick is gone. There was at least one brick. And 2 Percies are still alive, and your army has been killed. That's a really, really painful battle. And you drop engineers to try and get some reclaim, but that only works if you win the battle, unfortunately. And with 2 Percies alive, they can control the reclaim and deny it to you, and he can take it himself. Ooh, look at that. Spaceman is even making T2 mexes in this location. This is a location you really should have got back. You could have. It's insanely far away from reinforcements, so you should have focused on this. You could have just simply sent a brick through the water here and kill this expansion, and if need be, send 2 bricks just through the water and come up here, and there's nothing he can really do to stop it unless even if he reacts with his Percies that are here. I mean, you can kill this base, no problem. He's only recently built all of these defenses, so he had a lot of time to react and kill this expansion quite a while ago. So this reclaim pile, yeah, it's another T3 reclaim field, and those are really the most important thing in the T3 stage is the reclaim field. Or, well, there's no one most important thing, I guess, but sometimes there is. And that's a Megalith, so this is definitely not an option right now. If you had access to this reclaim field, then maybe you could make a spider quickly. But a Megalith, if you had mass in the bank and a massive reclaim field and more income, then you could go for a Mega. You can see 37,000 mass. It's just too much. Can't afford that right now unless you completely suspend your production. So I've selected almost all your army and it's 20,000 mass. So a Megalith would be basically double the cost of your entire army on the field right now. That's a good sign that you can't afford to go for that option, and you aren't actually building it, which is good. So we have T3 Air finished. I think T3 Air is a good option, and it would have been I think it would have been a good option a while ago. Spaceman playing really strangely. I mean, I think he's being very lazy. He's not taking mexes. He's not getting his reclaim. So you're in a pretty good position. Ooh, T3 mex on the front. This is, again, yeah, just, you know, always do the simple things. Build the T3 mexes in your base. Don't create targets on the front line for your opponent to exploit. Here we have another fight that you need to retreat from. Only 8 loyalists and a few bricks. The Percys should win this battle. I'm pretty sure. And also we could see stealth bricks would help a lot. See the Percys getting destroyed. Still, or the Loya's getting destroyed. We still have 6 Percys. None of them actually seriously damaged. And the fight is comfortably won. So this is just understanding, well, the power of units and which ones you can actually, which fights you can actually win and which you're going to lose. So that's just, well, it's really an experience thing, knowing how units perform in battles. If you had known that you would lose, then you could retreat, but you thought you could win. Don't underestimate the Percival. You should always overestimate the Percival. It does surprising things. So 4 T3 mexes in the base. And then he has these T2 mexes over here, and that's all he has. That's very bizarre. And now he's sent a Percy. This is just about the most efficient raid of the game, I would say. 1 Percy. And he even overkills the mechs. So he leaves almost nothing there. The arties. Yeah, definitely could have reclaimed these a long time ago. Now the Megalith is being built. If we look at the mass, yeah, instead of a Mega, you need economy. The longer this goes, the better and better and better and better it is for Spaceman. He has the better T3 land unit. He has the Percy. Now the Mantis are actually doing pretty sick, but all the Loyalists are almost definitely going to die. And even if you kill this army, I mean, he's going to get the reclaim once again. And now you aren't really watching and you've run out of range of the Percys, and they're going to finish off all the T3 units, and then you just have T1. Okay, we have a Strap Bomber, and the Strap Bomber is actually, with Cybern, a great tool versus T3 land units, because it has massive splash, so you can hit many Percys. Say if you dropped here, you would hit 6 Percys at least. Now this T1 land is actually killing the Percivals over here. Amazing stuff. But once again, 0 chance of getting the reclaim from this. So even his own dead army, I mean, it's dead, but you can't immediately take advantage of say, having a bit more land than him and then doing damage out of that. So it really it doesn't actually affect him to lose some some Percy's to 2 on land. He gets the reclaim. You can't push past that, and he's fine. This is another battle that Spaceman is going to win. He had more Percy's. Your formation was horizontal. He came at you in a perpendicular angle, and he wins the fight. And again, Percy's will just beat bricks every day of the week and loyalists. So that's another loss, and he's still being quite he's been quite good about reclaiming. So the strats have been doing damage to the Percys, but still not enough. And now the Percys are at the expansion. They're going to kill this factory. 5 Percys are going to clear everything up, including the T3 mechs that's been built at the front. Let's look at the reclaim. 63k reclaim to 37. We can see where the game is being won and lost. And it's in these battles, and it's in Spaceman's reclaim. Oh, we have a drop. T1 drop. He's gonna have to get through the shield. What's the scouting like? Yes, you see, if you knew there's a T3 P-Gen here, unshielded, you could. It has the same HP as this T2 shield. So this could be dead already, and even doing damage to the HQ. We have an air fight, which looks even. Actually, it looks bad for you. And now the Inties. We've run out of ASF. There's a lot more ASF now for Spaceman, and he can actually probably clear this up. Once again, the reclaim. It's all on his side of the map. It's up to 70k reclaim now. And you lost all the investment in these T2 mexes. How is the Megalith? Well, we're still building the Mega. It's at 51k. I think this is a really big error to be making this. Because you have so much mass just dumped in this, and you have almost 20,000 mass in here, inert mass. You can't do anything to help you right now. And you've been building it for a long time. Instead of building T3 mexes in your base, you can see still no T3 mexes here. And instead of building units that can defend against this Percival army, instead of building more air production so that you could take control of the air, make gunships, force him to retreat with his Percy. So if you have air control now, say you use the 20,000 mass, instead of building a Mega, this time you've been building a T3 P-Gen, more air production, and then gain T3 air control, and then you can build strats. You can have whalers. Then he cannot use his Percys like this. He has to wait. He has to produce parashields. He has to produce flak, and he's delayed heavily. He can't move out with his Percivals across the map because you'll kill him with air, and he'll leave reclaim. You can also deny the reclaim fields, and if you have air control, you can hit his Percys with impunity. Kill them with the whalers and the strat bombers, which are effective, and keep him in his base, and then even regain map control. See, up here now it's almost too far gone to I mean, he could make more T2PD to defend as well, but he has SAMs to defend from air. He has even a T3 mechs. So this should be dead long ago. And yeah, I think the Mega is a real, yeah, it's a real big mistake. This should be in T3 mexes for sure. Now we're making T3 mexes, but it's way too late for that now. He's already won all the battles he need to win, and he's got all the reclaim from those battles. And some of the battles were very close, and there's only a couple of Percys left, but because of where they took place and the fact that he just barely won them and had factories in the area. Like, say if you had cleaned this up And he didn't have a factory here. It makes it a lot tougher for him to actually get the reclaim from the fights. And yeah, I also think Spaceman knows he's playing against a much weaker player. I mean, no offense, Spaceman's very good, has a lot of experience. And I think he's kind of playing a bit lazy. Yeah, I think he might be a lazy player at the best of times, but when you play against someone a lot lower, you kind of take it easy. Really, I'm not sure what that refers to. Not sure what you're saying really for, but I guess some bullshit happened. And now the Percy's marching towards your base. So yeah, I think T3 air sooner. Certainly T3 mexes is the main the main thing you needed to build was T3 mexes. And then I mean you have a lot of options of Cybern, but I think faster T3 air. And really you can beat the Percy on land. You had the map control, you had the eco advantage. And what you need to do when you have that advantage is maintain it, clean up the shit that you can clean up, while also ecoing off of this map control in your base. Use the eco you got here, put it into your mexes at home, so that he can't just sit here, prolong the game, and win that way, because that's what the UEF guy wants to do. UEF guy wants to be at 40 minutes versus Cybern. With all of his Percys out there walking around versus whatever land you have, it's just good for the UEF to be in the late game. So once you have map control, yeah, you just needed. Spaceman says more XP, but I don't think so. I mean, this number of Percys right here would kill a spider bot. This, like, Percys are very, very strong versus spiders. Mega is an option, but not on this mass income, not when you're giving up the reclaim. So it's actually a very good comeback from Spaceman. Obviously every comeback generally is made possible by mistakes, but you know, every game is filled with mistakes anyway, so that's just it's just the nature of RTS. A good RTS anyway. It's very difficult to play without mistakes. So well played Spaceman, well played Trash. You did really well. Like this was a big comeback from Spaceman. He was far behind. You had the big advantage, pretty big advantage. But yeah, I think it's a common problem. Just that T3 mexes. People don't focus on what's important, and that's T3 mexes. At a certain point, you can't make gains on the land, and you have to plan for the game going longer. And if you know the game's going longer, then you got to invest in the future. Simple as that. If you think the game is ending in 5 minutes, then obviously you just keep making your units. If you don't know when the game is gonna end, don't know, then you gotta invest in the future and plan ahead. And that means more eco, more T3 mexes. And I think, yes, T3 air versus Spaceman here would have been good a lot sooner. Focus on making more PGens, more support factories, and then use the air advantage. Maybe make a bug. Bug is more effective generally than the Megalith, especially if you have air control. So thanks for sending me this. And if anyone else has replay review to send me, you can send me shorter ones. Make sure it's a loss. Don't want to watch you beat some player you definitely shouldn't be beating, or you didn't expect to beat. It's not really going to help you improve, because I'm probably going to be pointing out mistakes that your opponent made rather than mistakes you made. So if you do want a replay reviewed, then send it on to me. and I'll check it out. So thanks for watching. Hope it was informative, or helpful, entertaining, etc. And I'll see you next time.